Let's just say it. Ashton Lambie's a really interesting dude. There's the handlebar mustache, tattoos, tree trunk legs, a music performance major in college, analytical mind, laid-back personality. Plus, he can effortlessly rip down a country road at 25 miles an hour.
I like, the speed that everything goes by at. I like getting to, just see everything, and I just find it like a pretty relaxing activity. It's nice, it's fun.
This day, he isn't riding hard, just getting from his house to the gym at his parents' place for a workout. It's kind of a rest and recovery day. 4 days earlier, he was in Bolivia, breaking a world record.
Come on, Lambo! Come on, buddy! Dig! Come on, Lambo!
Lambie broke his own track cycling world record, set a year earlier, in the individual pursuit, a race where riders start on opposite sides of a 250-meter banked track and try to catch each other for 4,000 meters. He's also part of the American record in the team pursuit.
Being able to represent the country is huge.
All this just 3 years after his first real track race. Oh, and throw in the fact that the nearest velodrome, an arena for track cycling, is more than 400 miles away. How does this happen? First, while kind of new to track racing, Lambie has spent a lot of hours on a bike, starting in high school. Gravel races, ultra-distance races, his longest was 1,200 kilometers. That's about 750 miles in 4 days. He broke the record for riding across the state of Kansas, covering 400 miles in less than 24 hours. One day, he came across a race on a grass track in Kansas. He was hooked.
Yeah, it's pretty exhilarating. It's just fun to have like an effort on such a contained course and you don't have to worry about anything else, like any external factors. You're just going as fast as you can in like a controlled environment, which is fun.
1 year later, he's on the U.S. national team. 2 years later, he's a world record holder.
Yeah, like once you switch training and just start training for this one specific thing, it goes pretty quickly. And there were a lot of new things that it was easy to see huge performance gains. Like the first year I did the gym, like I got a lot stronger. I hadn't really been doing any strength or gym training up until that point. So like that makes a huge difference. And then yeah, just doing all the track specific training, that kind of stuff.
The lack of a velodrome for training is no big deal. There are occasional trips to the U.S. Olympic Training Center in Colorado, but mainly power meters on his gravel bikes and indoor trainers let him replicate the power he needs to generate on the track. Coffee, chocolate, and something inside lets him handle the hardest workouts his trainer can throw at him.
I don't feel like I've tapped out or like I've hit my ceiling on training, so I think I can keep progressing with that. You're on a track that's fairly consistent and you're just riding 16 laps. But there's so many subtleties and like really small details that you can just refine and keep working on.
Lambie's first track race of any kind happened a decade earlier.
I actually didn't even remember that I raced here until you brought it up that we were going to film here at the tractor test track. And I was like, I've ridden there before. Absolutely.
Yep, ridden on the oval the University of Nebraska-Lincoln uses to test tractors. Quick trivia, this is the only lab like this for tractor testing in the Western Hemisphere. But back to cycling. 18-year-old Lambie was riding for an Omaha team in a UNL Cycling Club event, staged counterclockwise, backwards for some reason.
I crashed, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, I tangled handlebars with the guy for a sprint. I was okay. The other guy did not finish the race. I got a new wheel and then hopped back in the race and finished.
We brought him back a decade later. It's different than what he races on now, longer and without banks on the turns, but still a good place to show me a few things about track riding.
I don't think I'm going to win.
That easy for you?
Oh, I was working a little bit.
So you can do that for 2.5 miles at 36 miles an hour.
Is that how long 4K is? Oh my God, that sounds way longer. You don't take the best line. You can make the turns easier on yourself, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, start on the outside. If you try to hit the inner line at the middle, so you peak right here, and then we start drifting back out, right? And then you just ovalize the track, right?
So let's talk about the team pursuit. And I'm not gonna get as close as normal, but how close would you be?
8 to 12 inches. Do you feel how much easier it is?
I can tell a ton, because if I do this,
Yeah.
I can tell a difference in the effort.
And it's like, it's at least a 25% difference. The other hard thing is that none of us have brakes. So like if you get too close to the guy in front of you, you can't hit the brake, which sounds terrifying, but then if nobody has brakes, it'd be like if you're all driving on the interstate and everybody just had cruise control. Like,
Right.
it just makes everybody really smooth.
So did you ever think you'd be at this point 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
No, absolutely not. 100%.
But how cool is it?
It's super fun. I mean, like being out here, 10 years later in the USA kit,
Yeah.
going the right direction, it's awesome. And knowing that this is the right direction, yeah, it's super fun.
Thanks for doing this.
Dude, thank you. That was
It
fun.
was great.
Track cycling is an off-the-radar thing in the United States. The best of the best in lots of sports make millions and live lavish lifestyles. America's fastest track cyclist tinkers with bikes in a rural Lancaster County garage while stepping around recently harvested garlic from his garden.
I like it. I like where I'm at. It's a good gig. After the record in Bolivia, it was like a bunch of people were like, "Oh, can I have your picture? Can I have your, will you sign this?" And I was like, God, I can't wait to go back to Nebraska and go to Costco and no one, maybe one person recognizes me.
There's one big showcase for sports like this every 4 years, the Olympics. But you won't see Ashton Lambie in Tokyo. The number of countries that qualify for the four-man pursuit was cut to 8 before the 2020 Games, and the U.S. didn't make it. Plus, the International Olympic Committee dropped individual pursuit from competition after the 2008 Olympics. It's a tough break, a harsh reality. But no complaints, Lambie's happy doing what he's doing. Relishing still wearing that USA jersey on the track, and with sponsors, lots of other rides and events coming up.
I love it. It's a blast. It feels awesome. Going that fast on the bike and just everything that you keep working on is clicking. Yeah, that's probably the best feeling.
No brakes on this bike, that doesn't matter. This dude doesn't want anything to slow him down.
So Ashton Lambie, ladies and gentlemen, he is your gold medalist here at the Velo Sports Center.